We're gonna start this video out with a little bit of a guessing game, because I want you to guess which camera is which just by looking at these two shots side by side. I'm gonna give you 5 seconds, starting right now. Couldn't see that much of a difference, could you? Okay, we are back with another video. This is how I usually talk when I talk like jokingly English or Swinglish, we can call it. Hello, my name is Peter. Hope everything is good with you. I'm just hanging out here in my good old studio, va? Hoppas att du like everything you see in the background, va? We're gonna talk about the A7S III versus the A7 IV and my personal opinions on which camera that you should go for, because they are not the same camera, and I think that one is better than the other. I've been shooting with my A7S III now for a little bit over a year, because I got to try it out in July last year, and I fell in love with that instantly. It had everything that I wanted to have in a camera to be able to do what I do on a daily basis. And before we begin, I just want to say that if this is your first time watching, hey, hope everything is good, and subscribe if you like the video, and don't forget to join me on Instagram too. I just want to give you a little bit of call to action in case you forget. And before I was shooting with the A7S III, I was using the A7 III for quite some time. Some of my most popular videos was shot on the A7 III, and it was basically this sweet point of a camera that had all the good things from the photo side, but also all the good things from the video side. And that is what a lot of people is expecting from the A7 IV as well. And if you want to see my dedicated video on the A7 IV, I'm gonna drop a link. I can't talk today. Or you can click up here or here. I can never remember which side it is, but one of the sides. But when you have the cameras side by side, you can definitely see that both cameras has both strengths and weaknesses. But I want to start out with the sensor size. The A7 IV has 33 megapixels, which is incredibly good when you are shooting photos and shooting oversampled videos. Like, you're gonna get a really good quality out of this camera. Meanwhile, the A7S III has 12 megapixels. And the difference here is that you can get a full sensor readout when you are shooting videos in 4K, which is going to give you a very detailed image and a very crisp image, and also the possibility to gather more light to the sensor because the pixels are way bigger than it is on this camera. And it also allows the camera to shoot in higher frame rates because of the lower amount of data that the sensor has to capture and process and send to the memory card. But the good thing about having a 33 megapixel sensor is that you're gonna get some really high quality images coming out of this camera, and you also have the ability to crop in and out when you jump into Lightroom or Photoshop or something similar. And that is something that is harder with the A7S III. But that is also the thing, because the A7S III is a video-centric camera. The A7 IV is more of a hybrid between the two and tries to have the best from both worlds, as I said in my previous video. But it kind of depends on what you want to do with your camera. For example, me as a video shooter, I do feel limited by the A7 IV, mainly because when you're shooting in 4K, you can only shoot in 4K 25 or 4K 30 in full frame, and if you want to shoot slower than that, then you gotta jump up to Super 35. But on the A7S III, you can go all the way up to 4K 120 with only a 10% crop. So instead of having the 1.5 times crop, you only have 10% on the A7S III, which isn't that big of a difference, and still allows you to use your full frame lenses as the lenses that you intend to. But when you use, for example, an 85mm lens on the A7 IV and you want to shoot in 4K 60, then you're gonna have to think about the crop factor, which is times 1.5, and that is gonna give you the equivalent of the lens that you're shooting with these two cameras. So the crop factor is definitely something that you gotta consider with the A7 IV. But then again, when it comes to the different codecs that you got in the camera, these two are basically the same cameras, because you can shoot all infrared in this, you can shoot all infrared in this, The downside here though is that you only have one CF Express card in this. Meanwhile, on the A7S III, you have two. Even though the CF Express cards are incredibly expensive, they are incredibly good because they are super fast. And I remember I said to myself that I thought they were too expensive, so I wouldn't buy them. But now I have 3 of them, and so far I haven't had a single issue with any of the CF Express cards. I think one of the hardest things when doing a video like this is to say which camera that you should go for or not, and which camera that is the worst or which camera is the best. The thing is that these cameras are good at different things. So I'm going to say like this. If you know that you are going to shoot the majority of your stuff in video mode, then I would probably say that the A7S III is going to be the way to go. But you also got to consider that when you're shooting photos with the A7S III, you don't have that much of a room to crop when you jump into Lightroom. I personally don't think that that is big of an issue because it has kind of taught me to choose the right lens for the job instead of relying on cropping in and out when I jump into Lightroom. If you want to have the best of 2 worlds, or if you don't have the money for the A7S III, or if you simply don't feel the need for 4K 120, then the A7 IV is going to be a really good choice for you. I don't think that the A7 IV is going to be the great mid-ground that we had with the A7 III because I think it's a little bit limited in what it can do, but I do think that it's probably the best compromise that you can get in this day and age with all the different functions that Sony cameras has to offer, because you do get 33 megapixel sensor, you do get IAF, you do get super fast autofocus, S-Log3, 42 10-bit, all that good stuff in this camera, and a bunch of other stuff that makes this camera really good. I would love to know, which camera do you think that you would buy of the A7S III and the A7 IV? Do drop a comment down below, because I know which camera I would go for. The A7S III is my weapon of choice, mainly because I only do video. That is the thing. But yeah, do drop a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you like the video. Hit that follow button on Instagram as well, and I will see you on my vlog channel if you haven't seen that. I'm gonna drop a link down below as well. But see you in the next video. Peter från Sweden, saying goodbye. Oh, 3 videos down. I think I have like 2 more to go before I'm done. I'm probably going to take some tomorrow as well. I don't really know, but I need to keep cleaning here in the office. I just need a video break. So maybe I should start cleaning again. Yeah.